So, as I'm recording this, I've not had a shave for a couple of days because my disposable razors are all disposed of. I'm still in Lincolnshire. Sandra has got home safe and sound with Rasha, so they're all back into a semi-routine. Rasha has just gone straight into the kitchen, back at home, straight into her basket. She's had a bath. Sandra's back in work, and we've had a barrage of, not a barrage, that's the wrong thing to say, but we've had a lot of to and froing with things to do with the sale of our house back in Manchester and the purchase of our, all being well, our new property in Lincolnshire. So that's going well. As anybody who's been in this situation will know, we have got a lot of stress coming up and we've got a lot of problems coming up. But I wanted to chat on this video, so I have spoken to Sandra, and I don't know whether this may help you out there if you're thinking about doing a similar journey to us and are looking for a property, no, not necessarily in Lincolnshire, but anywhere in the country. So I'm not going to go into on this video why we'll do a whole video on why we're moving away from Manchester, but we've touched on this in the past. But we needed to find a property that can accommodate not just me and Sandra. If it's just me and Sandra, that would be so easy. There's tons of properties over here, but also something that would be suitable for Barbara, who's my mother-in-law, Sandra's mum, and she's 90. 90, blimey, she'll be 91 later this year. So we both sort of know what we needed, and so we needed a minimum of 3 bedrooms. The doors have all got to be not narrow doors, they've all got to be a maximum of a standard or larger for Barbara's accessibility. The property had to have things like, if possible, handrails for Barbara to hold on to. Can the front door have a ramp? So if Barbara's in a wheelchair or anything like that, can it have a ramp? Has it got a ramp? Can we put in a ramp and things like that? We wanted ideally somewhere with a bath. I love a bath. And a lot of properties around here only come with showers and not baths. So a bath was definitely on a wanted list. And also a walk-in shower for Barbara, obviously with her mobility issues. So we wanted somewhere that also had a walk-in shower. It had to have a good garden space for Sandra, but not just garden space. Somewhere that we can also have as a social space as well. So if you want to sit out in summer in the garden, and also. Sandra can have a greenhouse. We wanted a location that was semi-rural. That's not right out in the sticks. So we had seen a couple of places that were very, very rural. And we didn't want to have something in a town neither. So we had seen a couple of places in a town. The towns around here are nothing like back in Manchester. But we wanted semi-rural. So this property we've all been well, which will be ours, is 15 minutes drive outside Skegness. It should be about a 20-minute walk into Wainfleet. It's got a bus stop, regular buses every 30 minutes, literally outside where the house is. And it's got accessible to the A52. It's not a million miles from the A52, which is the main link road. So we've got a main road nearby. And so we needed, as I say, we needed that semi-rural location. But because we're near a main road, we were conscious that we didn't want to be having lots of car noise and things like that. And the garden for Sandra had to be manageable. So we had seen, I think Sandra said we had seen somewhere with like a third of an acre on it. And we would have been a slave to that garden. It would have been first your full-time job, keeping it, as Sandra would say, keeping it tame. So the garden on this property is an L-shaped garden. We've got a section around the back of the bungalow, which is it's north, so it's very always in the shade. Then we've got a long section coming down the side of the bungalow, and then we've got gardens and greenery at the front of the bungalow. The property also, we were mindful that in a year's time or whenever, both me and Sandra will probably be needing to find local work of some description. So wherever we ended up living would determine where we will actually go house hunting or property hunting. Sorry. No, we've already done the house and property hunting. Job hunting, looking for work. So this is a commute from Boston's a bit of a distance away. I don't really know much about Boston. I've never gone that far south. But we've got Boston and obviously Skegness quite close by. So all being well, in a year's time or whatever, we will be able to find a job each. We also wanted somewhere that had got some garage space and attic space. So we've not been in the attic on this property, but it has got a drop-down ladder and door and things like that. So we could always board it if it's not already been boarded. But this property has got a double garage. With one of them's it's got electric roller doors and everything. So you've got super massive garage space for doing things, hobbies and things like that. We could even put a chest freezer in there and the such. We ideally wanted a property that came with a log burner or an open fire. This one hasn't got one, but it has got a chimney. So I am hopeful. I did this back at home with Sandra a few years ago, that we will be able to open up the old chimney breast and put in a log burner, put in a flue and a cowl and things like that. So we also, this was really important for something that we both wanted. We both love our log burner. Well, not necessarily a log burner, a multi-fuel burner, so we can also burn coals as well. So all being well, this is going to be able to do that. We also gave consideration, as I say, with this space for Barbara. So this property has got it's got a quite a modern fitted kitchen, and it's got a really big dining room. So if Barbara has guests coming over, she can socialise with her friends, family into the dining room, and that gives, in inverted commas, the living room privacy if I'm in and I just want to, sit in the living room. But we can also, we're planning to sort of adapt the spare, so there's a third smallish bedroom into a mini sitting room for Barbara. We might even put a separate little kettle and things like that in there. So Barbara's room will also, it's got fitted wardrobes over the bed, so there's wardrobes each side, so there's lots and lots of storage space. But Barbara back at home, she's got a few belongings she's going to want to bring with her. But by having that fitted wardrobe, it saves us messing about and it's less expense in buying furniture. The same goes for the master bedroom. The master bedroom that me and Sandra are in, one of the things we had on our consideration is, does it come with fitted bedroom furniture? And the master bedroom on this property doesn't have fitted furniture, but it's got super big mirrored wardrobes. So as part of the deal we've done, we've negotiated to keep them in. So we know the layout of the bedroom. We know those wardrobes fit, and it's one less expense for us. Sandra's been very paranoid about properties in Lincolnshire. So some of these properties are actually on sea level. So if a tsunami comes in, there could be problems with flooding, with if the sea defences failed, and obviously we've got dikes and rivers and things like that. So this property isn't far away from a place called Wainfleet, but it's a good distance away from the river that has flooded, and also the property is above sea level. So Sandra has been doing a lot of research on properties above sea level. We also wanted a place that we can store a large caravan. I've been following my vlogs for a while. We'll know we've got a small Adria caravan, but we will be upgrading that probably in a year's time to something significantly larger, probably a twin axle 6-berth caravan that will be able to be used by us, in inverted commas, for caravanning holidays, but also for guest accommodation. So if we have friends or family want to come and stay with us, they'll be able to stay in a touring caravan, and if it's a 6-berth, they'll be. Oh, if it's what I've got in mind is one with sort of bunk beds. So if there's children, it's like if my grandson wants to come and stay, there's bunk beds, and obviously there'll be cooking facilities, heating, a shower, and things like that, all in there. So the drive had to be big enough to accommodate a big touring caravan. We did look at possibly putting a static caravan on, but that would be, it would look odd where we're going. So this has got massive. It's got a massive drive, and we also needed a drive that would also accommodate and be able to park at least 2 cars. Me and Sandra. This has probably got car parking for probably 5 cars. So that'll give you some idea of how big the drive is. It's a super big drive. So we had that on the radar, and also that the condition of the drive had to be in quite good condition. So it wasn't like full of weeds, and it wasn't just concreted. This has all been block paved. It's been done really tastefully and to a very, very high standard. The perimeter fencing and hedging on this has also been looked after. So that was another consideration, that we weren't going somewhere and then we were going to be fighting with, I don't know, big conifers or having to replace fence panels and things. So that was also a big consideration. The property had to be relatively easy to maintain. So again, we alluded that we had seen a really big property that had sort of got 3 extensions on it. And that would have been we'd think would have been a problem. It would have been ongoing maintenance, to cut a long story short. This property is going to have some structural sort of messy work done on it. We're going to need a rewire. I do believe we're going to have a rewire. I've touched down with an electrician. He's given me a rough price now. But obviously, the rewire is quite messy because the plug socket is going to have to come out. Once the rewire is done in, we're going to have to pull in a plasterer to plaster up where the wires have been pulled down, the conduits and things like that. So that's going to be a very early job we need doing. We're going to need to get a fireplace, so the open fire knocking out and a log burner in. That's possibly going to entail some plastering. So we need to get that done and get a plasterer in. And then also we looked at the heating of the house. So many properties around here are oil. Some are LPG and some are Caligas. They have their own tanks in the garden. So we will be probably upgrading the boiler. So we've got 3 jobs which, as soon as I can, I'll be instructing people to get on with. We also needed a broadband connection, if possible. So obviously, because you're in the rural area, a lot of places don't have broadband. This has got broadband, which is great. And obviously the 3rd bedroom that we're going to turn into sort of like a spare room for Barbara, we'll probably put a sort of a bed settee in there. So as well as it being a social space and a private space for Barbara, it can open up and a guest bed can go into the property. The property also, we wanted a sort of summery sort of conservatory or a summer house. So this has got like a super large conservatory. So even in summer when the weather's really miserable, if it's raining or whatever, Barbara and Sandra can go into the conservatory and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or high noon teas and cakes and biscuits and things like that. So this has got a beautiful conservatory that will also has got space. So at the moment there's a washing machine in there. I'm going to have to do, it's not a big job, it's a DIY job, an adaptation where these units are in the conservatory, so there's space for me to put in a dishwasher. But that's a DIY job, I can do that. And also, in the kitchen, dining room area, as well as the standard fitted kitchen unit, if we wanted to put in a big double size fridge or freezer, would we have space to be able to do that? And yes there is. So we had a lot of things that we were looking at that were on our tick list. And I said to Sandra, as soon as we go into a property, we'll both know straight away, is this the one? So as you know, if you've been watching the vlogs, we went into a handful of other ones, and as Sandra says, in her heart, here, this is what she wanted, but being sensible, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been incredibly difficult to make things happen. So we both went into this one. It was our number one on the list of properties to look at. I had previously gone down and had a look at it, so I had an idea of what things were going to be like. And yeah, it's ticked the boxes. Oh, schools as well. Should ever, I don't know, my daughter come and live with us, with my grandson, is the schools nearby and things like that? And yes, there are. So that was another reason as well. Very bright today. Beautiful day. Sorry, another thing before I forget as well. It's a bungalow we bought, not a house. Back at home in Manchester, people of our age buy houses, not bungalows. Bungalows are for old people. Around here, where we've been looking, the properties are primarily bungalows. And do get your head on that the footprint inside a bungalow is as big as a 3-bedroomed house, which is going to sound super weird. So back at home, the house we're selling is a 3-bedroom semi. So basically we've got a porch. So this house has got a porch. You open the door, you're into a hall. This house, so this bungalow we're buying has also got a hall. Then there's a staircase upstairs. So we haven't got a staircase, but upstairs there's the bathroom, toilet and 3 bedrooms. Now our bathroom, toilet and 3 bedrooms are downstairs, and then in the property we're selling, we've then got a living room, a dining room, a conservatory and a kitchen. This has also got a living room, a super big kitchen, a super big open plan dining room attached to it, and then it's got a super big conservatory compared to the one we've got back at home. So don't let the prospect of moving into a bungalow thinking, oh, it's going to be small. The actual footprint, square meterage of a bungalow for your living accommodation compared to a property on 2 stories, we never thought we'd be living in a bungalow. You're going to be absolutely surprised how much space you actually get. So even though you would look at this bungalow and your initial thought, oh, it's tiny compared to what you're living in now, no, it's significantly bigger with a lot more space. Yeah, and if you're downstairs, you don't have to go upstairs to the toilet. That's a bonus. So hope you've sort of found that interesting and perhaps a little bit useful of sorts. As I say, it's we got there quite early on looking at places, so we provisionally booked 3 days for viewing, and yeah, on day 2, I think it was day 2, wasn't it? I can't remember now. Yeah, we saw the property that, all being well, was a property for us. So if you're thinking about buying somewhere, do like what we do like what we did. That's not very proper English, is it? Do what we did. Get yourselves a list of what you're looking for, and make sure you take that list with you. Make sure all those boxes are ticked. As ever, is there such thing as a perfect property? Probably not. But all being well, we found what we were looking for, and only time will tell. So all being well, this time next year we'll have to do another vlog, won't we? On did we make the right decision? What was the property like in the end? So I think I also explained about Barbara with her mobility issues. So this had got a grab handle outside the front door. I mean, it's only a 50 quid job to do, but it's one less job for us. What else had it got done? Oh, that was the other one as well. The walk-in shower, which is in a sort of strange location. It's been built into like an old pantry in the kitchen, sort of, and it's got a door on it. And when you swing the door inwards, it catches. It takes up a lot of space. So we'll be looking at putting in either just a curtain, like a shower curtain, instead of the door for ease of access, or possibly a concertina door, so you can get like a slide concertina door for Barbara, and yeah, all those adaptations that we'll also be looking into. So as ever, give this video a like. If you've not done so, you can subscribe down there if you're not already a subscriber. It costs nothing to subscribe, and I still don't know when I'm going to be back home in Manchester. I'm still waiting for work to be done on my car. Wish me luck. Look after yourselves, everybody.